Welcome. Good morning and welcome. I am Elliot Church. I am one of the directors of Big Data Ignite. The other is Tuhin Mitra. Tuhin, are you in the house? Tuhin Mitra, my longtime collaborator and close friend. And I say welcome to those of you who are new today, and welcome again to those who were here yesterday and the day before. And you'll recall that I welcome you for a purpose, and that purpose is to leverage data. It is to assist people, organizations, and places like this place in leveraging data. And what does that mean? So leveraging data involves collecting data. It involves staging, storing, organizing, pre-processing. It involves analysis, and it involves use. Collection. So collection, like these days, often involves IoT. IoT was spoken to very effectively in a lot of detail yesterday at this conference by Vice President of Engineering of Spindance, Brian Toll, and also by Kent Stroker, a nationally recognized expert in IoT. Staging, pre-processing, organizing, these days almost certainly involves some kind of cloud-based platform or hybrid platform, such as those provided by Snowflake, who you will see in the lobby, by Google Cloud Platform, by AWS. Tools for leveraging data, such as those spoken to by Randall Prime of Calvin College, John Muiskens of Washington Post, who spoke yesterday at this conference. And leveraging data involves using it in ways such as were described by the people who participated in yesterday's healthcare panel, to provide for patient care, diagnoses. And we leverage data to what end? To what end? For several. Competitive advantage, social good, and public service. Competitive advantage, the kind that results in the high-quality products and high-skill services such as Sustain West Michigan. The kind of high-skill services such as are provided by Initech Global, one of our sponsors who you also encounter in the lobby. Social good such as provided in the form of research by the Calvin Center for Social Research, represented by Director Neil Carlson behind me, and the research provided by Grand Valley State University's Johnson Center for Philanthropy, as represented here at this conference by Adriana Paz. And public service. What kind of public service? Like that provided by the government of Kent County, represented here today by data scientist Michael Fortman, who, by the way, is also volunteering. So we have a purpose. And I went to a talk yesterday here at this conference by a professor of philosophy from Grand Valley State University, Patrick Anderson. And what I learned about Patrick is that purposes give rise to imperatives. And what is an imperative? It's a call to action. In fact, it's more. It necessitates action. In fact, I think Patrick, he would say it's a moral obligation. But what kind of action should this inspire? It should inspire all of us to work together to serve this purpose, the purpose of enabling people, organizations, and places like this place, to leverage data. And so how do we do that? Well, we do that by working together. We do it by volunteering, by sponsoring, by presenting, by organizing, and by spreading the word. And so that is my call to action to all of you today, to join us and to join other organizations like this, some of which you will see represented in the lobby as well, to spread the word, to organize and to sponsor, to serve this purpose. Tuhin, are there other comments that should be added?
Sure. So, thank you, Elliot, for an inspiring message. And I wanted to just add to some of the things from 2016. So from 2016, that was our inaugural year. And just looking at some of the numbers, at the time it was just an idea. Now this is the last day of our 4th conference. And you can see that so far we have had 11 days of conference, 200 hours of content. Now, that number I'm really proud of. Our volunteers should be really proud of. This organization is special, is different, because it's not something that is funded by organizations which have deep pockets. It is an organization which is a nonprofit. It is looking for help, and it is being built and supported by individuals like yourselves who care passionately about this subject, who care passionately about this area, about the vitality of the West Michigan area. And we want to spread its influence in the Midwestern area. 9 keynotes, 20 panels, 400 plus speakers, 25 workshops, 50 plus supporting organizations. And to think about, it all started with an idea. The part that I wanted to just take a pause and think about is that every single one of these, other than this awesome facility, the delicious food that you eat outside, the setup in the dining area, have been done by volunteers who have donated their time. Volunteers all the way down from students, all the way to directors and VPs. And for that, I'm very grateful and thankful, because you joined forces with us. Yet our job is not done. We would like to ask you to help us spread the word, add more to this, because what we are doing here is all about the good for not just West Michigan, Midwest, and I think this should be an influence that we should spread to other states, to other regions, because there are other underserved areas. This is not like a Detroit or a Chicago, where if you look around, there's already a lot of this kind of activity going on. But if you think about Grand Rapids, which when I first reached this special city, I didn't think much of it, but it has grown on me. And I love this place. And I want this place to thrive. I want that vitality to be here. The companies over here are very special. There's a reason why they're headquartered here. I want that vitality to continue. I want new talent and attraction to come here. Without your help, that's not possible. It's something that we need to keep up, and I don't want us to fall behind. In addition to Big Data Ignite, actually before Big Data Ignite, the event, before the organization was formalized, Elliot and I, we had formed 3 meetups. That is the core foundation of Big Data Ignite. We realized that there are 3 pillars. There is the data science and analytics, formerly known as the Hadoop and Big Data meetup. We had the West Michigan Cloud Computing, and we had Internet of Things West Michigan. I'm going to start from the Hadoop, or the Data Science and Analytics West Michigan. This is where we are dealing with data that is of vast natures. Volume is high, speed is high, the variety of the data is high. There may or may not be any kind of structure to the data. It's just data. What do you do with it? The reason I got into it is because I was dealing with a lot more situations that required me to think of data differently, hence the formation of that meetup. And then we realized that we needed a place to handle it, to crunch it. The cloud was the answer for that. And the very last one, IoT, the reason why it's here is because that is one of the biggest producers of data, and it also generates the same data and may go and create more data. So it's a uniquely placed area that we cannot ignore, and it's part of the whole ecosystem. Having done that for a few months and some Indian food, we decided it was about time that we formed an organization with this mission. This is Big Data Ignite. So what we're looking for is volunteers to help us come up with better themes for our meetups. We want that to be formalized as well. So a call to action to the group here is to please join forces with us to help us come up with the programming for this year and all subsequent years. And I think this is one of those ways to really connect with boots on the ground and connect with individuals who are working with certain areas in these 3 meetups. Lastly, we have already kicked off for 2020. We have a super, super early bird for a super attractive cost of $300 for all access. This is going to be for the first 100 tickets, and it's going to be open till the 13th, I believe, 1 week. So please go spread the word. We would like to kick it off. We want to have the momentum behind us. And the other thing is that we also want to call out for our sponsors to join forces with us and start supporting us for not just for 2020, but all the way through 2025. That's all I have.
Thank you. So today we will engage in a collage-style welcome, and a succession of people will tell you some things about the conference itself and about some of the participants. And I'd like to start with Michael Bloom, who is chair of BDI's research division.
Thank you, Elliot. So you just heard Elliot and Tuhin tell you about how BDI seeks to foster a local center of excellence in advanced computing technologies and practice. The BDI Research Council tries to support that vision by quantifying, describing, and sharing the development and influence of this local center of excellence. And we have 3 thrusts to our research currently, which will be represented by 3 talks today at the event. The first of those focuses on organizations, and we have primarily been pursuing that thrust of research through case studies. So if you come to Omar Malik's talk describing his case study of Service Express, you'll hear our very first case study, hopefully learn about how they developed a internal data and analytics team and are gaining value from that. Our second thrust involves individuals in the community. We have primarily been pursuing that through the analysis of survey data. If you come to my talk later this morning, you'll hear how we benchmark data and analytics in Michigan relative to other parts of the country using the 2019 Stack Overflow Developer Survey. Finally, our third thrust involves Big Data Ignite itself, the event. We are pursuing that one primarily through our own surveys and through your responses to them. If you come to Neil Carlson's talk at the very end of the day, you'll see him do a near real-time analysis of your survey responses, so you can come away knowing which were the most popular talks, which are the ones that we'll try to have more of next year. Finally, I'll finish with a call to action to you with 4 parts. First of all, please continue to fill out your surveys about this event for each session that you attend, and also you'll later be getting one for the overall event. That's very helpful to us. Come to those 3 talks that I mentioned today, give us feedback on what we're doing, help us improve. Third, consider volunteering with us. We are a small group of volunteers, always looking for help. If you'd like to join with us in this research, we'd be delighted to have you. And fourth, consider sponsoring an internship. We are striving to have summer interns help us increase our bandwidth so we can do more of this research, and we're looking for sponsors to help finance that. Thank you.
Join me in thanking Michael Bloom for that information. I would also like to point out that seed funding for BDI's internship initiative to perform research has been given by Confluent.io. And we want to thank you for kicking off that initiative, Matthew Morris. I would like to introduce Rivka Hodgkinson. Rivka is BDI's social media coordinator and expert, and she would like to tell you how to participate in this conference via social media.
I would like to tell you to tweet. Show of hands, how many of you are on Twitter? Okay, like more than half the room. What we've been talking about spreading the word and spreading BDI beyond this room and beyond our local circles is really important, and social media is a huge way to do that. And I know it can feel like, oh, I only have 20 followers, it doesn't really matter, but our cumulative efforts really do make a big difference. So yesterday alone, our impressions just on Twitter, not even including Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, where we've also been participating over the conference, received over 111,000 impressions for our hashtag BDI 2019. So those tweets do make a big difference. You are reaching outside of just the people you see here. We're helping make other people, other businesses, and other organizations aware of what's going on at Big Data Ignite and how much fun we're having and how much they should come and join us next year. So please do share. This is also the last day of the conference, which means all the remaining stuff that I have sitting in my room back there, I have to make sure I get rid of today. So we have some things that are going to be during session sponsorships. Grand Valley State University is giving away a really warm hoodie, which anybody who woke up this morning shocked by the snow will want to win that. And we also have a Google Nest and several other prizes, big and small, back there. So be watching our Twitter account, be tweeting and sharing, hashtag BDI 2019. Occasionally throughout the day, we'll be giving you other hashtags for specific prizes in specific sessions. But we just really love to see that engagement and that interaction across the board. If you're not on Twitter, it's okay. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook as well. Just search for Big Data Ignite and you'll find us. On Facebook, it's just Big Data Ignite GR, and on Twitter, Big Data Ignite, and on LinkedIn, Big Data Ignite, and on Instagram, Big Data Ignite. Do we have a common theme? So hashtag BDI 2019. I will love to see all of your wonderful profile pictures popping up in my feed today, and thank you so much for participating.
Thank you, and join me in thanking Rivka. I would also now like to introduce Neil Carlson. Neil will talk to you about how to engage with BDI via survey.
So I'm a big fan of not being a hypocrite. I don't know if our friends at Google still say they eat their own dog food. So we're a big data conference. We ought to generate some data, right? So please, every speaker has been asked to put up this slide at the end of their production. You can point your phone at the QR code and answer mainly 3 questions, an optional comment after you identify which session you're in. That will enter you for a drawing for a $50 Amazon gift card. And I'm pleased to say that this morning's winner from yesterday's second half of the day is Spencer Morris. Is Spencer here? Is any? Okay, very good. Well, we'll get this to him, and I encourage you to respond generously this morning so that you can be the winner at the plenary session coming up later this morning. Thank you.
Join me in thanking Neil. I would like to introduce France Salas of Google Cloud Platform.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. So, incredible couple days. I want to take a couple minutes here and thank Big Data Ignite for inviting us. So this is Google's first year attending the event. It was spectacular. I wanted to take a few moments, kind of give my thoughts on what we all heard throughout the last couple days. And some pretty common themes across the area. Be more data-driven. Being able to understand what the business is doing across the enterprise, across the landscapes, across the markets you serve is super important just for growth of the enterprise and being able to incrementally improve the business, total business outcome. Stay ahead of the competition. Being able to understand and extract value from data, drive insights across the organization is an incredibly common theme I heard every day and in each of the engagements I had with most of you folks here in the room. Collaborative and productive. The ability to tie people together, folks of different walks of life, different cultures, being able to find the human component of data and understand how that human component can do things like unhinge biases, drive inclusivity and change and functionally shift the culture across the organization and in the markets you serve is incredibly thought-provoking and very difficult. And I think the last piece I want to make sure I talk about is security and threats. Data is hugely important, and be able to understand how we can protect that data and be good stewards of that data for our customers and for our consumers and folks who use our technologies is very important to make sure that we continue to drive and foster the culture of innovation. So kind of that all being said, super excited for the rest of the day. We're in the booth here, so folks, please stop by, have a conversation with any of us Googlers. But more so, come join us this afternoon to hear Rachel Levy talk about how everyone in the room can be an innovator, independent of education, independent of whether you're a deep data scientist or a business leader or a student. So that all said, to him, thank you. And Google continues and will continue to make an investment here in the state of Michigan, especially in Grand Rapids. So we plan on being here next year. Hopefully you all can make it and kind of put the challenge out there to all of you to come join us, come collaborate, come have a conversation, and see you during the breakout sessions throughout the day. Thank you.
Join me in thanking Franz. I would like to introduce Paul Leidig, Director of the School of Computing at Grand Valley State University.
Thank you, Elliot. You did get one thing right. Following Google, I will have to say not all of us have deep pockets. But we do have deep resources at Grand Valley, and we want to make sure that you're aware of some of those you'll run into already this week and today. So out in the lobby, we have a booth with our professional science masters where we have some of our graduate students and the coordinator of that. So please stop by. But also take advantage of our speakers that are representing Grand Valley here at Big Data Ignite. We have some faculty giving presentations, and we're having a selective group of students who have agreed to come talk about their work, including the presentation later today with the Service Express, one of our students. And I'll also do a call out, in addition to all of his other education accolades, Elliot will proudly claim as one of our students as well. And so I just want to make sure that you all are aware of the commitment that Grand Valley has to enhancing and expanding and supporting the Big Data Ignite initiative. We're currently in the middle of our annual Big Data Month with a series of speakers and events for students and faculty to take part in. Our theme for a couple years is Making Waves, and that's doing a lot of collaboration around water and our common theme here in West Michigan. So a shout out to the hackathon yesterday with the water data. And I just encourage you to come up with ideas, different ways to support collaboration among both universities and with you and your organizations. Just also want to make you aware, a lot of people think of universities as a place where 18 to 22-year-olds go. And at Grand Valley, we bill ourselves as a place of lifelong learning with our extension into the K-12 system, and then also with recent expansion into partnering with you all in industry in terms of boot camps and different ways that you can advance your skill development. So enjoy the conference here and the interactions that we can have. So thank you, Elliot, for inviting us.
Join me in thanking Paul Leidig. I would like to say a couple words on behalf of one of our sponsors, and that is Snowflake. So Snowflake has a cloud-based data warehouse. Snowflake has been an important supporter of this conference for a couple years, maybe 3 years running. And they have enabled us to perpetuate our purpose, to leverage data for the benefit of people, organizations, and places. So if you have time, please see them at their booth, which is out here in the corner. Courtney Uris and team would be delighted to talk with you about their cloud-based offerings. I would like to introduce Randall Prime of Calvin College to talk about program updates. I'm sorry. So I make this mistake regularly, and I introduce Calvin University as Calvin College. And it is now Calvin University.
You're not the only one. Even those of us who work there keep making that mistake. It's going to be a while before it doesn't roll off the tongue that way. One program announcement, one program update this morning. I've already updated this online. I've also created a blog post that has updates for the day, and if anything else comes up, we'll post that there as well. Due to a late-breaking work engagement, the quantifying bias in machine learning session will not take place this morning. Instead, we're going to schedule that at the next meeting of the West Michigan Data Science and Analytics Meetup, so watch for announcements about that. There was something mentioned about that before, but if you're unfamiliar with that, get on the mailing list for that group. Those are meetings that happen roughly monthly. We welcome you to participate as a speaker or a participant in that as well. And because of that, assuming that I can find David Zeitler, who I've not yet seen this morning, we're going to move his talk to the beginning of that session at 10:25. So hopefully I'll be able to find him after I get off the stage here and let him know that he's on for 10:25 this morning. I'll make one other announcement in addition to the thanks that I said yesterday. Thank you to all of you who accepted an invitation to speak, who submitted an abstract to speak, who got somebody else from your company to come and speak. We really appreciate all of the speakers. Some of you have been asking me, can I get a hold of the slides from the session that I was in? And that all depends on these speakers as well. So if you're a speaker, you should have gotten an email from Zach Dreschler asking you to provide your slides. We're going to try and curate those in a way that everyone who came to the meeting can get a hold of the slides from the sessions they were at. So if you're a speaker, please give us your slides. If you were an attendee and you would like to see those slides, watch for that in the next week or two, and we'll try and get those up in a way that's accessible to you. Thanks again for coming and helping make this be an excellent program.
join me in thanking Randall Prime of Calvin University. I would like to say a couple words on behalf of Initech Global. So this year, our premier sponsor is Initech Global. And without them, this conference, where we are today, would not have happened. So we take pains and work hard all year to put on a quality program with lots of great content, and I'm sure you've experienced that. And we put it on in a place which is conducive to the kind of thinking, the kind of broad and open-minded thinking that we want to encourage. It's a place that's intended to inspire, and it does. And we provide meals that are intended to inspire networking. So you are here to connect, to learn, and to advance. And that requires a certain ambiance. And we're creating that, and we are creating that together. But it requires support, and this year we have Initech Global to thank, in large part, for making this happen. They are a service provider. They provide high-skill technology services to companies in West Michigan and throughout the globe. So they're based both here and in India. And if you have a chance to stop by their booth outside, please do, and meet their team. They have a lot of very well-qualified individuals. And with that, that brings us to the end of our welcome. We are going to take a short break, probably 2 minutes, to reset the stage, and then we will move forward with the digital transformation panel. So thank you again. We'll see you soon.